This 9-game road trip for St. Louis started north of the border in Canada as the Cardinals took on the Toronto Blue Jays. And with the exception of the start of Chris Carpenter, it was a frustrating start to this road trip for St. Louis. From Toronto back down south, we're in Tampa Bay, Florida. And the Cardinals, for the first time ever, will take on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Mark Mulder is on the mound. Baseball next. Another gorgeous day in sunny Tampa Bay, Florida. The first ever trip for the St. Louis Cardinals to Tropicana Field, their former spring training site, St. Petersburg, Florida. John Gruden shaking hands with Tony La Russa, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach. Scott Rowland, good news on him, could play this weekend. News not so good with Jim Edmonds as So Taguchi will get the start in center as John Mabry and the Cardinals visit Tampa Bay. With my partner Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball, and I know for you a chance to see some friends that have been down here in the St. Pete area and guys that have been scouts for years with the Cardinals, coaches. George Kissel's here. Should be a special weekend.
It really is. 57 years the Cardinals had spring training here in St. Petersburg, and then when the Devil Rays came in existence, they wanted to have their spring training site here, and so the Cardinals looked elsewhere. They were blown away by Jupiter, and I think we're all happy that they're in Jupiter now.
Cardinals have a 6.5-game lead in the National League Central Division. For the American League and the East Division, Tampa Bay has been a doormat for time and time again, year after year, and this year's no exception.
Yeah, but this is not as bad a ball club as you might think, and there are 3 games over 500 here at home. They've only won 5 games on the road. It's a very good hitting ball club. They have a higher batting average than the Cardinals. Their biggest problem is pitching, and particularly late in the ball game, getting to their closer, they've lost many, many games.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals' 3 starters for this series. It begins with Mark Mulder tonight, Matt Morris tomorrow, then you've got Jeff Suppan on the mound Sunday before we head to Cincinnati. That's a look at your 4 key matchup.
The biggest winner for the Devil Rays is a 4-game winner, but you can see how successful these guys have all been on the road. Look at this. As you see, Mulder is 6-0 lifetime against the Devil Rays, but right here in Tropicana Field, 3-0 with that 1.64. So we hope that continues. But as I said, this is a pretty good hitting ball club.
Well, let's take our first time out here from Tropicana Field in Tampa Bay, the home of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Tropicana Field will flash back when we come back.
Cardinals win. They sweep the A's with a 5-4 victory, 3 of the 9.
Time to flash back on FSN. Marlon Anderson and the Cardinals against the Oakland A's as the A's made their first ever visit to St. Louis. Jeff Suppan was on the mound, and as you heard, Marlon wearing a mic for us. It was the great defense of Scott Rowland. We hope to see him this weekend. Then Reggie delivered late in that game as the Cardinals would sweep the Oakland A's after a pair of errors made by Anderson. He would be one of the heroes in that game. Poetic justice as the Cardinals would win it by the score of 5-4 over Oakland. One of those games and one of those series at that time that really propelled the Cardinals on that remarkable run. In the final 100 games, they would go 70-30. And you're going to have moments like that when you look back and when you win a division or get to a World Series that springboard a team into postseason play.
And we hope that same thing happens right here today, as the Cardinals have been kind of winning one, losing one about the last 10 games. So we need to start picking up the pace, and what better time to do it against the lowly Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
And this is a team, like you said, Al, that you don't want to overlook, and it's a chance to get after them here tonight with Mark Mulder on the mound.
Yeah, you've got to do it, and Mark has dominated against this ball club, but it's still not the most prolific offense we're putting out there with Edmonds out and Scott Rowland out, but there's enough good bats there that we got to get the job done.
One final segment to go before we start giving you some baseball here tonight. When we come back, we'll talk about home runs and making a difference in the game of baseball as far as money raised for prostate cancer research. That's coming up next. More to stay here in Tampa Bay. Glad you could join us on this Friday night, as this is stop number 2 of a 3-city road trip for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals. It's been busy for him back home here in Tampa. His lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Eckstein, Taguchi, Pujols, Sanders, Gridzolanek, Walker, Seabold, Nunez, and Yadier Molina. The DH will be used once again here tonight, of course, and the designated hitter will be Scott Seabold for St. Louis. First pitch to the shortstop, David Eckstein, is a strike on the inside corner. We're underway. Scott Kazmir, a young man that you look at him on the mound, he's not a big presence, but yet a live arm. We're not so sure, though, he knows where it's going half the time. He can bring it. Quickly, there's 2 strikes on the Cardinals shortstop.
About 95 miles an hour. He is 3-pitch pitcher, but basically it's really a fastball. See the 2-5 record. They say very easily it could be 500, maybe even better.
His numbers brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. On an 0-2 pitch, it's hit to short, taken there by Julio Lugo, the former Astro. And the first man is retired tonight in David Eckstein, and it brings in So Taguchi, who's playing center field here tonight. I visited with Jim Edmonds at length prior to the game. Probably won't play tomorrow. The Cardinals will face a left-hander. He hopes to get in there on Sunday, but it's going to be tough to see if he will or not. The Auto Tire defense is Crawford, Hollins, and Huff. Gonzalez, Lugo, Cantu, Perez on the infield, the former Cardinal, and Toby Hall is behind the plate.
Not a good combination for the Devil Rays, as they have allowed, they have the highest ERA in baseball, and they've committed the most errors.
Taguchi pops it foul and out of play. It is a ton of red in the seats here tonight. We're expecting around 20,000, and we are expecting better crowds for tomorrow night's game and again on Sunday. 1-1 pitch to So Taguchi is driven into left center field. That's pretty well hit. Crawford over, though, to get it. Former center fielder, very good athlete. That's out number 2.
Kazmir, Czechoslovakian Polish descent, from Houston.
Nice round of applause for Albert Pujols with 2 down and nobody on.
A lot of the people were stunned when they read about Albert had a tryout camp here, and they said he was too fat. Chose not to select him, but nobody else did. And of course, it's hard for us to realize that his body was in that shape at one time when he was a high school shortstop.
He's the first one to tell you that it was his problem, that he was out of shape and that he wasn't ready to go for professional baseball. Of course, Albert, in his 5th season, hasn't hit below .314 in his career. He played at Fort Osage High School just outside of Kansas City. They won a state championship. And then he went to Maple Woods Community College. Fastball and a strike at the knees, 2-1.
Incredible numbers to start the season, or to start his career.
And this season, 332, 16 homers, and 52 RBIs. It's between he and Derek Lee as far as the Triple Crown for the first half. And the last to do it in the National League, Joe Medwick, back in 1937. 3 balls and a strike on Albert. Derek Lee is off to a phenomenal start for the Chicago Cubs.
He's leading in all 3 categories. He was at least Thursday.
Look at Aubrey Huff, the right fielder. He's almost on the track in right. Full count on Albert. These folks are into this first at bat by Pujols and Kazmir.
Kazmir, one of the things he gets himself in trouble is throwing a lot of pitches, trying to strike everybody out. It's not uncommon for young pitchers.
The 3-2 to Albert. Bounced in the dirt. A 2-out walk, and some of the fans boo here at Tropicana. Or as they say, the Trop. Here's Reggie batting cleanup. A guy that has been under fire here in Tampa Bay. Not so much because of the 23-43 record, but because of his statements recently in the media. Is Lou Piniella, the manager of the Devil Rays, and he came out before tonight's game and said he will honor his contract. He has a 1.5 years left. He originally signed a 4-year, $13 million deal. But about a week ago, he said that the new ownership group has not provided enough for this franchise to win. As Pujols will stop at second base. And it's first and second. And the batter will be Mark Grudzielanek.
Lou is correct. If you have the lowest payroll in baseball, Reggie gets another nice hit up the middle, but You know, this team, the general manager was told this year, you could not sign anybody to a multi-year contract. You can't, you can't bring up the young kids because you don't want their clock started towards arbitration. And what you basically have is a collection of cast-off from everybody else, and they just don't have the pitching. If they had some pitching, they would be okay.
Like you said, too, this team plays much better here at home, so don't overlook this team as they play at Tropicana Field.
15, they're 8 and 15, excuse me, 18 and 15 at home, 5 and 28 on the road.
Grudzielanek up the middle. That's a base hit. Pujols will be waved home. It gets past the center fielder. Sanders on his way to third base, and a wide turn by Mark Grudzielanek at first. And it's 1-0 Cardinals. A 2-out walk to Albert, a single by Sanders, and an RBI single by Mark Grudzielanek, his 27th RBI. And that's got to kill you, too. A young franchise here with a losing record, and here it is, 2-out hits early on, and it sets the tone for what could be a very good weekend for the Cardinals.
I hope so, and just a 2-out base hit, those are meaningful, especially when you say Albert walks and then 2 singles follow. But this is one of the guys you got to get going on the road.
Larry Walker's hitting under 200 away from Busch Stadium. That second game in the gym that was pitched by Chris Carpenter against Toronto, pair of 2-run homers.
300 average at home and 198 on the road.
Runners at first and third with 2 down. Larry with 27 RBI, 7 home runs, and a .250 average. In the final year, that 6-year, $75 million contract. Indications are that Larry will retire at the end of the season. If the Cardinals win the World Series, he's on record as saying it'll absolutely happen, that he'll be done. The greatest Canadian-born player to ever make it to the majors. You know it's got to be frustrating with the kind of numbers that he has put up in his career to be hitting .250. A broken bat hit towards third. It's a fair ball. Long throw across the diamond, and they get Walker by a step. Back-to-back hits after the walk to Pujols, as Mark Grudzielanek makes it 1-0 with his RBI up the middle. St. Louis on top early on. St. Louis, the only team that the Devil Rays have never faced in regular season play. There's Lou Piniella. His lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Crawford, Lugo, Cantu, Huff, Perez, Gonzalez, Gomez, Toby Hall, and Hollins. Carl Crawford will lead it off, the left fielder for Tampa Bay against Mark Mulder. His numbers brought to you by Rico. This will be his 14th start. 16 wins in interleague play since 2000. One of the best in the Major League Baseball as far as interleague play is concerned, as Crawford pops it back in foul.
Trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. And what better place to do it right here, where you've dominated against Tampa Bay, 6-0.
0-1 pitch to Crawford is hit hard, but a backhanded play made by Albert Pujols at first. Round number 1. No doubt about it, Al. The Cardinals are anxious to see Mulder have a good outing here tonight. He has lost 3 straight, and his season has been up and down so far. The defense behind him as we go around the horn is brought to you by Auto Tire. Sanders, Taguchi, and Walker in the outfield. Nunez, Eckstein, Grudzielanek, and Pujols on the infield, and Yadier Molina after the day off yesterday and night off for him on Wednesday, back in there tonight. Julio Lugo, the former Houston shortstop, digs in and takes a strike at 87 miles an hour from Mulder.
290. See what he has done. He's a very good little shortstop. Had some problems off the field, which ended his relationship with Houston. That's how the Devil Rays were able to pick him up.
Count of no balls and 2 strikes. The next from Mulder. Chopped towards second, taken there by Grudzielanek, who has the RBI tonight. And there's 2 outs. You see at the top of your screen our new Fox look. We hope to be dropping down new innovations on your screen as far as batting averages and situational play, and maybe some in-game boxes as well as we develop this throughout the season. But a new look, and we hope you enjoy it at the top of your screen. I'm pumped. I like it. I like seeing the different colors. Cantu pops it foul. Second baseman for Tampa Bay, hitting .306, 7 home runs and 31 RBIs. He was signed back in 1998 at the age of 16, and here he is in 2005 in the major leagues.
He can hit. 6 for 13 in the Milwaukee season. He's 8 for 17 his last 4 games. 345 hitter here.
And the 1-1 is hit into shallow right field. Walker coming on. He'll step in about 5 steps and makes the play. Good start for Mulder. 1, 2, 3 go the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Second inning coming up. St. Louis on top. Cardinal fans everywhere here in Tampa Bay, and you can log on to foxsports.com and talk with us if you can't find us here in our booth in person. Email us at foxsports.com on MSN. The keyword is Cardinals booth. Cardinals with the lead of 1-0. Mark Ritzelanic with the RBI. Drive in Albert Pujols. And Scott Seabold will lead it off for the Cardinals, the designated hitter for St. Louis.
Roland coming back quickly. You know, a couple of these bench guys are going to try and make a statement final few days.
One of those guys is Scott Seabold. The heckler. So he picks on one player for the entire game apparently, and that's the guy he has chosen is at the dish, and that's Scott Seabold. I think our microphones up here are picking it up. I can hear him pretty clearly.
Boy, how lucky can you be, Scott? His son's got to be embarrassed.
Remember the guy that would do that in the NBA with the Washington Bullets?
Somehow, I think you can guess his vocation. An attorney.
3-1 pitch. Inside. So 2 walks handed out by Kazmir. And it brings in the third baseman, Abraham Nunez. When we talk about Scott Rowland, had a long workout at around 2 o'clock here at the ballpark, and then took batting practice with his teammates, took some ground balls, and don't be surprised one bit if he plays this weekend here in Tampa Bay.
You know, the Cardinals been struggling against left-handed pitching. Tony would love to have him back in there. Before the injury, he was second best in the National League with his batting average against lefties.
First pitch to Nunez is fouled back and into the seats. Barry Weinberg was saying to me prior to the game that it was a very good workout, probably the hardest workout he has had in the last couple of weeks as he's been doing baseball duties back home in St. Louis.
Been working hard while the club was in Toronto. Usually when you have a real good workout, you report no problems the next day. It's usually good enough, or maybe they'll keep you out one more day. So, but just having him back with the team is a real plus.
This guy has done a nice job filling in, though. Abraham Nunez for Scott Rowland. He's got the bulk of the playing time over there at third base. Scott Seabold has seen some time as well.
Nunez started 18 of the 34 games that Scott has missed.
And the thing about Nunez that I think has surprised people is how well he has had backhanded plays down that third base line. I mean, he's made a couple of Scott Rowland-esque type plays over there.
He's been a real quality addition. You know, he's a very, very likable guy. He fits in well. He knows what his role is, and he has to be appreciative of all the playing time he's gotten, but you know, he wants to go back and kind of be anonymous.
Inside to Nunez. at 92 miles an hour. And it's a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's time with Toby Hall, the catcher, and he's going out to talk to his pitcher right now. And one thing that he told me is Kazmir really kind of gets himself in trouble. He's not afraid to pitch inside, but he seems to be afraid to pitch to contact. And that's why his pitch count gets up high. They've lost a lot of ball games that they've had leads, and with the bullpen losing them. And you know, he's trying to say, well, if you guys want to stay in these games longer, cut your pitch counts down. Stay in the game, pitch it yourself.
1-2 pitch here to Abraham Nunez. Cardinal switch hitter called out on strikes. On number 1 to start play here in the top of the second after the leadoff walk to Siebel.
Mark pitched inside, and he gets in there. Good pitch, gets the call.
Now it's Molina, who has caught the second most innings of any catcher in the National League outside of Ramon Hernandez.
He's hitting .319 against left-handed pitching.
It's his 55th start this season. Game number 66 for the Cardinals. He missed some time with that sore ankle, not much. We thought it was going to be a lot worse.
I think it was 3 games, but he's started 20 of the last 22 games. Told him he got his last day off yesterday until the All-Star break.
It's going to be tough for Einar Diaz to stay sharp both defensively and in particular offensively.
Right.
You know, as being a pitcher, I mean, you'd like to have a little continuity behind the plate with that catcher. They get it with Molina, but not with Diaz. Yadier pops it up behind home plate, and the play is made by Toby Hall. As I look down at first, Scott Siebel is visiting, it looks like, with Joe Patini and not Dave McKay.
Right. Just noticed that too. And sometimes Dave McKay has back kind of acts up. I don't know if I even saw him today.
I saw him here. He was inside the clubhouse. I never saw him make his way to the field. I was down there till about a half hour prior to game time. So Joe Patini takes over at first base. Jose Kendo at third. I think people would say, all right, what's the big deal? Guy coaching first base. What's going on in some of those conversations? And there's Jose Kendo at third. But what's the first base coach telling that runner at first base?
He's telling him all the different things. You know, there's 2 outs now, so you know, get your secondary lead, bounce around. You know, the ball's put in play, you run. And one thing that is one of the big advantages is to either affirm, you know, if you see a sign from Oquendo, a lot of times they always look at their first base coach and say, did I see it right? And he can kind of very quickly kind of give you a motion to say, yes, this is what's on, that's what's on.
Another big factor with Dave McKay is that stopwatch and times to the plate, and it becomes even more so important with a left-hander on the mound and trying to read that lefty if you're at first and trying to steal a base.
An average with an 0-2 count.
Rounded out his first time to short. Eckstein takes the ball, and it's 1-2.
A lot of times now, because with all the advanced scouting that is done, there you see Dave. So I think it's probably maybe his back acting up again. But with all the advanced scouting, a lot of times they know whether they're going to be able to steal or not.
Eckstein shoots it foul and stays alive. Average at an even 300. Pair of home runs and 20 RBIs this season. 1-0 Cardinals. Here in the top of the second with 2 down and a runner at first. That Siebel started this inning with a walk. Kazmir working from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Eckstein into right field. That'll be taken by Aubrey Huff. Cardinals straying a man. They've left 3 on in the first 2 innings. Coming up for Tampa Bay, Huff, Perez, and Gonzalez. 1-0 St. Louis.
Back at Tropicana Field, Dan, and now we're talking about the guys filling in for the injured Scott Rowland. Nunez, Mabry, and Siebel have all played great defensively, but Rowland's bat has been missed. collectively, those three guys are hitting just .235 with 1 homer. So Rolen's bat is being missed. Could see him back as early as tomorrow, Dan and Al.
Well, you're right, Jim. We miss him as far as the offense is concerned, but nobody better in the game of baseball, too, with his defense. Now, we praise some of the guys that have filled in, but they are not Scott Rolen, and we know that. As the first man is retired here in the bottom of the second, Aubrey Huff, and Tony La Russa has talked about it, too. Even if Scott Rolen is hitting .230, it still gives this team a different look in this lineup. I mean, it just looks better.
Well, yeah, and if you're the pitcher out there, you always are fearful of Scott Rolen and his power potential. So, and it also allows Tony La Russa to have one of his thoroughbreds out there, and then to have Mabry and Nunez, Siebel, guys like that to be the role players that they really are, and have them as weapons coming off the bench.
This guy was one of our favorites when he was in St. Louis, a bench player for Tony La Russa, Eduardo Perez.
And it was tough for him to leave, and he told Walt Jocketty that he would take less money to stay in St. Louis.
That's a fair ball. Long throw over to first, and Perez is retired for the second out. Buy some prize this summer and win a prize. It's the McDonald's St. Louis Cardinals Ticket Fest game, and this summer you have the chance to win one of 3.3 million prizes by checking out your fries at participating McDonald's. Chance to get Cardinal tickets mixed in there. We hope you take advantage of that. 2 down as Perez is retired, and it brings in a former Cub and Blue Jay, Alex Gonzalez.
He's also hit Mulder very well, 6 for 13 and a home run. They got him playing, he's primarily a shortstop, but they got him playing third base. And Lou Piniella said that he's at least stabilizing the defense a little bit better when he's playing at third.
They also looked at him as possibly playing second, but he thought that third base would be a better spot for him just because of the angle of playing on that side of the infield, used to seeing that at short.
Makes sense. And Cantu is a legitimate hitter, so keep him at second where he's more comfortable too.
A name we have not mentioned, Rocco Baldelli, who was up for the Rookie of the Year a couple of seasons ago. Young player that they love here in Tampa Bay, a center fielder, and he is done for the year. He'll have Tommy John surgery, and he was coming back with a leg problem as well, so they thought they were going to get him back at least for the second half of the season. Instead, a young player misses an entire year.
They talk about the jinx of the Devil Rays, and Rocco injured himself in the offseason, had reconstruction knee surgery, was coming back from that, and then there he is there. And then when I guess it was Wednesday, found out that he had injured his arm, going to have Tommy John surgery.
3-2 pitch to Gonzalez, misses outside, 2-out walk. He injured himself, did Baldelli, in October. He was messing around with his little brother, and all of a sudden he tore up his knee.
Yeah.
So
speaking of little
he was going
brothers,
to miss time.
Randy Flores told me that his younger brother got called up by the A's today. He's a left-handed relief pitcher.
Another USC product, and actually he was a pitcher along with Al Reyes, who now has been put on the disabled list, the Al Reyes that's down in the minor leagues, who was at USC with Mark Pryor, and that's where his brother came from. And that's where Randy came from as well.
And our Al Reyes here at the big league level, kind of hard to see that how well he's pitched for us, that he was released by the Devil Rays last year. Had a contract clause, AAA.
Pitch that is up, and it's hit down the left field line. Over to get it, Reggie Sanders. On his way to third is Gonzalez, and it's a 2-out double for Johnny Gomez. Reggie Sanders may have saved a run out there before that thing got to the wall. I think he did.
Yeah, you got to be very careful here, because balls down in the corners are definitely doubles. They can get out in the gaps. They can be doubles and triples, especially with a guy like Crawford running. So a lot of extra base hits are in this ballpark. He cut that ball off quickly.
Here's the catcher, Toby Hall, hitting .291, 5 homers, 18 RBIs. And he is a fan favorite here in Tampa Bay. As you see Reggie cutting that ball off before it got to the wall. But wasn't that quick how he got it back in there?
Yeah.
Quicker than I
I knew
remember.
he was quick, but
Yeah.
Toby Hall's hitting .353 against left-handed pitching.
First pitch was a ball. Toby Hall, a couple of years ago, threw out 44% of would-be base stealers. They like his defense. Long throw for Nunez. Over to Albert. Good play. Devil Rays strand 2 as we head to the 3rd. Best damn sports show period. 1-0 St. Louis is coming up tonight. The greatest nightly sports show on television. Chris Rose, co-host John Sally, Rob Dibble, and Rodney Peete coming up tonight after the Midwest Sports Report. Center fielder Sotoguchi will lead it off for the Cardinals as Mark Mulder is ahead by the score of 1-0. So his first time up, fly to left. Big story with Japanese players concerning Hideo Nomo as he is pitching for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. The Cardinals will not see him this weekend, but on Wednesday night he beat the Milwaukee Brewers. Solid 7 innings for him. That was his 200th win combined for his careers in the United States and in Japan, and that total makes him eligible for Japan's Golden Players Club, similar to what our Hall of Fame would be here in the United States. Not quite to that ilk, but quite an honor for a Japanese player.
He's their biggest winner with 4 wins out of their starters.
And the player has to accept the invitation. He can turn it down, and his departure from Japan was unpleasant.
He was kind of like the first one to really defect and
kind of open up the floodgates for everybody else. A pioneer in the game of baseball.
Yeah, there is a way of leaving Japan gracefully, and I believe that you have to have 10 years of service.
1-2 pitch to So.
And he didn't qualify for that if memory serves me right.
He was amazing when he first got to the big leagues with the Dodgers.
And I think that's what saved him, is the fact that nomomania is so
Taguchi with a liner into center for a leadoff hit.
a good start.
Leadoff hit for So Taguchi. This date in baseball history after pitching the longest relief stint in Major League history, 18 1/3. Cub Zip Zabel beats the Dodgers 4-3 in 19 innings back in 1915. So I guess there wasn't a pitch count back there.
No, there wasn't.
Okay. And when you first started, any talk
no,
of pitch
there wasn't.
counts? None whatsoever.
No. I mean, I had 2 back-to-back starts in A-ball my first year. 163 pitches and 172. And yes, I did complete the game. And I got, or you were asking if I got out of the first inning.
I would never ask you something like that. I know you were going to pitch a complete game, Al. Big stud. I know that's coming.
Back-to-back 17 strikeout games.
Here's Pujols. We talk about all the positives with Albert Pujols, but how about against left-handed pitching this year? At 262, last year at 384. I think that's pretty surprising for most to see that.
Now, we talked about that the other night, that only 3 home runs against left-handers. And normally you would think he would get a real good look at him and crush him.
Walked and scored back in the first. Blew it by him. A little late with that swing. Strikeout number 2 for Kazmir.
Pretty much in the inner half of the plate. Threw it right by him, but I have a feeling that if Kazmir stays in this game long enough, Albert's he'll answer that strikeout.
Reggie Sanders with a single up the middle his first time. 1 for 1. Good play out and left to cut the ball off to make sure the runner didn't advance last inning.
Reggie batting over 310 against left-handed pitching, 258 against righties. Got that nice single up the middle. All three of the Cardinal hits have been right up the middle.
1-0 pitch. Reggie gets a piece. 1 ball, 1 strike with Grzelcyk, who has a lone RBI on deck. Cardinals with a record of 41-24, and they start 6.5 games in front of Chicago. Cubs and Yankees tonight.
About the balance. 21-12 at home, 20-12 on the road.
Chicago first visit to the Bronx since the 1938 World Series. Good pitching matchup there. Carlos Zambrano and Carl Pavano. Throw down to second, and the tag is there, and they got him. Great tag. And Taguchi is caught stealing for out number 2.
Talk about Toby Hall's outstanding thrower. He's nailed Juan Pierre a couple times. That'd give you an indication. Probably wasn't his best throw, but quick release right there. Catches the ball. Still had enough time to come up with the glove and then put it back down and get Taguchi. So he comes up there as a short option, but he got it back down in time.
Great camera work by a crew here in Tampa Bay. Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on Reggie. Kazmir with another. Breaking ball misses low. Kazmir is an interesting story. Stands at 6 foot, 175, but yet he throws 95 plus. You look at this guy and you wouldn't think, all right, he's going to be physically imposing, but he can bring it. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Reggie did not go around. He was a first-round pick back in 2002 by the Mets, and the Mets dealt him for Victor Zambrano. So they give up a 21-year-old with a great arm that hadn't figured it out yet to get Zambrano, who's 30.
That was one of those trades that you're going to look back on and you're going to say, this kid's pitching 10 more years or more.
Makes no sense. Swinging bunt. Kazmir slips a bit, twirls, and safe at first is Reggie. He pulls his fist. And Kazmir, as I mentioned, he slipped and he may have twisted his ankle. You're right. We're in a dome stadium and playing on that field turf, and it is slick out there.
And this is all Lou Piniella needs, that got one of his promising young pitchers and goes down. So he went to set himself, and then the leg kind of collapsed, and Reggie running hard pays off with a base hit. It's his right leg, and
that would be his plant leg. Kazmir is a former high school player of the year, the USA Today Player of the Year. He's out of Houston, Texas, and Cypress Falls High School in Texas.
Through 6 no-hitters.
6 no-hitters, and many thought at the time when he came out and got that accolade that he was thought to be the best left-handed pitcher since Rick Ankiel in high school.
Front leg. Throws it, and he just kind of went. Didn't see him really roll over or anything like that, but get a better look this way. He turned it there. I'm surprised. You know, a lot of times, you know, you kind of twist that ankle a little bit and you put a little weight off it and kind of get it to loosen up, but got to be very careful with this young man.
Well, you handle him with kid gloves. This is a team that's 20 games below 500, and as you well know, Al, that's so important to be able to plant. And if he can't plant or feel 100%, maybe he gets mechanically out of whack and puts strain on a shoulder or an elbow. That's the last thing you want.
Absolutely. I'm really kind of even surprised that they're even, and I'm sure he's talking right now. Piniella's saying that's it. You know, not going to ruin his arm or take any chance. You know what they may be asking now is, can they have time to go tape it? You don't tape a lot of ankles for baseball, and that's where they asked the crew chief, Randy Marsh.
Bullpen starts to get up and get loose, at least guys stretching, not throwing yet. So I think you're right. Probably going to see this young man tape it up. So he tips his cap to the crowd. And still no activity in that bullpen. So we're not sure exactly what's going to happen here, if he's going to get it taped up or not. Tony's looking for an explanation. Hopefully we'll have one when we come back. Casimir will tell you, don't forget to cut out the coupon and the Post-Dispatch for the final season pin collection. Tomorrow's featured pin is tonight's starter Mark Mulder, so pick up a Post-Dispatch, take the coupon to a participating retailer to purchase your Mark Mulder pin. They continue to work on the young left-hander. Nobody up and throwing in the bullpen, so he's going to go back out there. Hopefully we'll have some baseball when we come back. Casimir took a couple of the tosses. He seems to be all right. The batter will be Mark Grudzielanek.
Reinforce that ankle, that it will not be a visit.
Ever seen that in the middle of an inning, that a pitcher leaves and gets taped up in the middle of it? I can understand at the end of it when he gets his 3 outs, but not in the middle.
Well, but you know, it's too risky to go out there and try and throw it. So, you know, it probably was less time to wait and tape it up than to get a pitcher warmed up.
When you think about the NBA or pro football, college football, I mean, this is the only sport where you're allowed to stop action and let this guy get taped up and then go back out there.
Right. And one thing, if I'm Mark Mulder, I ask the home plate umpire for additional tosses. I want more than my normal 8.
Swing and a miss by Grudzielanek. He's 1 for 1 tonight. Single to center with an RBI, his 27th this year, and he's hitting .321. 1 ball, 1 strike.
About 369 add to that with his single the first time up against left-handed pitching.
Paul Jocketty is on the trip, and we get a ton of emails concerning his status as far as free agency. Grudzelanek's. He will be a free agent after the season. It was a 1-year deal for $1 million. The Cardinals got him, and it was a bargain. Better than advertised. Question now, will they re-sign him? Cubs let him go. There was the problem of injuries for a couple of seasons. Signed with St. Louis and turns a great double play, and obviously has hit very well for the Cardinals. He's batting in the 5 spot here tonight. Reggie, a short lead at first.
I think it was safe to say at the beginning of the season that was probably a 1-year commitment the Cardinals are really looking at. But the way he has played, both offensively and defensively, you got to take a serious look at it.
Ironic we talk about him tonight in contract status. At the time in which the Cardinals signed him, there was thought to be competition between he and Roberto Alomar, who retired in spring training with Tampa Bay, as Grudzielanek couldn't pull the trigger, and he strikes out. 3 on the night for Casimir as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. 1-0 Cardinals. We're in St. Petersburg, taking on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. First time ever these two teams have hooked up. As Al told you earlier to start the night, of course, St. Pete was the Cardinals spring training site for 57 years.
It's about how long this guy's played in minor leagues.
This is Damian Hollins.
Not quite, but 10th straight season he's played in AAA. 7 of those were with Richmond, the Braves' top affiliate. He's done a nice job. 30-year-old rookie.
Grounds it left side for a base hit. Second hit tonight for Tampa Bay. So a leadoff hit for Hollins, and it brings in Carl Crawford. As we take a look at the effort of Abraham Nunez.
Hollins is leading all American League rookies in hitting, slugging percentage, on base percentage. He was the May Rookie of the Month in the American League. Second oldest rookie to Jim Morris, the rookie.
Not much of a lead over there at first by Hollins. Yeah, that was the rookie.
The rookie. He was 35 years old when he played for the Devil Rays in '99, and went on to make the movie about the high school coach that challenged by his team to try and make a comeback. I'm still not quite sure how you gain 10 miles an hour on your velocity after arm injuries and other things. That made for a great story.
You know, some guys have that Tommy John and they come back and throw harder.
Yeah, but 10 miles an hour.
Haven't seen that.
When you're 35, 10 miles an hour from when you're, you know, a young kid, you know, when you're supposed to be in your prime, and when you come back at 35 and you're throwing, this doesn't quite make sense.
It wasn't like 10 miles an hour up to 75. I mean, he was throwing hard.
Yeah, it was like 90, you know, in the high 90s.
Here's a ground ball and a chance at a double play. That's one. Tough to turn two, and they will not with the speedy Carl Crawford. 4-6 fielder's choice. Crawford can really run, and he gets down the line in a hurry.
He's got a chance to be a pretty exciting ball player because he's got 7 home runs, 5 triples already, and really doesn't know what he's doing yet in the batter's box, but he can hit them a long way, and then with his speed, he can always be a very exciting player.
And you say that because, like I mentioned before, he is just a tremendous athlete. Passed up a scholarship to be an option quarterback at Nebraska, also at a hoop scholarship to UCLA he did not sign, and decided to give pro baseball a shot. Grounded to Pujols. He'll get the lead man. That's one. On to first. Nope. Eckstein's going to put it in his pocket, and there's 2 outs.
Sometimes you have to make that judgment. Don't throw the ball away. Albert, because of the way he fielded that ball, had no chance to recover and get back to first.
Coming up later tonight, the Midwest Sports Report. Of course, Jim Hayes will have our star of the game, who will buy the St. Louis Blues, and our post-game wrap-up as well here from Tampa Bay. Midwest Sports Report only on FSN Midwest.
Like scanning the paper there, some people concerned about the Blues leaving town.
Here's Cantu.
I know that would make you concerned.
It sure would, but I don't think they're going to be going anywhere. I think they're going to make sure that it's going to be, from the people I've talked to today down there, it's going to be local ownership, and that the St. Louis Blues stay in St. Louis.
Like Shanahan Jr.
Never know. Wish nothing but the best for the Laurie family. Good people. Blues were oh so close to getting to the Stanley Cup finals a couple of years ago. Fastball and a strike at the knees to Jorge Cantu. Line to right his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Average over 300 at 305. Cubbies and Yankees, the most interesting matchup of the Interleague Series this weekend. Hit high in the air to deep left field. Back at the wall is Sanders, and it's gone. A 2-run shot. 2-1 Tampa Bay. His 8th home run. Oh, was that hit high in the air?
I thought it went over that ring of lights, whatever you call it. That walk up there.
The fixtures up here holding up the roof and some of the speakers, and this thing almost caught that. If not, it may have gone over it. It was hit that high.
Leads the club in hitting. Has a team best 345 average here at Tropicana Field.
And a grounder to Grenzelanic. Over to Albert. Tampa Bay is done here in their half of the third. Cantu has made it a 2-1 Tampa Bay lead as Reggie ran out of room. 2-1 Devil Rays. Start of the 4th. Here's Larry Walker. First pitch up and in at 91 miles an hour. Walker grounded out with a shattered bat to third his first time up. Larry, one of 4 children. You've got Barry, Kerry, Gary, Larry. 17th major league season, 7 Gold Gloves, 3 batting titles. Hits it again to third. Walker is retired for the first out. The home run in the third, Jorge Cantu has raised another $28,000 to fight prostate cancer research. Home Run Challenge, supported by Major League Baseball and FSN, raises money for prostate cancer research. Here's the home run as Reggie got out of room, and number 8 for Cantu.
How do you like the 8 foul poles they have here at this ballpark?
About as much as I like the heckler. Jim Hayes has more on the heckler.
I did a little research. His name is Rob Sass. He's a local land developer. They call him the Happy Heckler. He's been honing his craft for about 3 years, and he's gotten some national notoriety for it. I asked him why Scott Seabold. He said he noticed Seabold struggled a little bit in the Cards' last trip to Toronto, and he couldn't think of anything bad to say about anyone else, guys.
Poor Scott.
We feel for him up here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on.
At least he
It won't
appears
compel you to come to a ballpark and do that, though. I mean, why do you want to pick out one guy and heckle him?
I mean, he does it cleanly. So, pays your money, get some national publicity. Here we are talking about it. What other fan are we talking about?
I'll find one. I got a fan for you. Dick Vitale near the Cardinal dugout.
He's not the heckler.
You wanted a fan, I gave you a fan.
I pointed him out to you.
But he's pretty loud too.
Yeah.
Just not tonight.
He is a big baseball fan. Lives in Bradenton. Spring training home of the Pirates, and you see him out there all the time.
3-2 pitch. Seabold into left center field. He may have answered the heckler. Has a chance, and it's off the top of the wall. Seabold to second, and he'll stop right there. Now what does he do? Does he keep screaming and yelling at him?
Absolutely.
A walk and a double tonight for Seabold. This one almost got out.
Off the top of the blue, just beyond the below. He's got a good nature about him.
Now, will this take place for Seabold every game of this series, or does he go to a new one?
Yeah, he goes a new player.
Okay.
But as he said, how are you going to say something bad? You know, of course, the guys in truck will attack him if he says something bad against Mabel or picks Mabel. They'll never show him. They'll cut him off.
1-0 pitch to Nunez. Hit foul and out of play. It's got to be tough for these fans here in Tampa Bay to get into this team, number one, but a lot of these people are retirees down here, whether it be from New York or St. Louis, so there's no connection to this franchise. It's tough for them to draw.
And I think that's what, you know, it kind of dumbfounded people, that why not have spring training on the East Coast, go up north and try and build a fan base up there rather than having your spring training right in the city you play. So they play at Old Al Lang Stadium, where the Cardinals had theirs spring training.
The 2-1 pitch. Line into center field. Seabold being waved home. The throw by Hollins to the plate is offline. It hits the bat, and Nunez has to stop at second. If that ball gets away, Kazmir was nowhere near where he needed to be to back up that play, and Nunez would have wound up at third. They got lucky because it hit his bat.
Did you ever play Indian ball?
That was Indian ball.
That was Indian ball. Change up grip and ball up out over the plate, and Cardinals got a good sound approach to try and take the ball up the middle today. Might have been fairly close if the throw was anywhere on line. But here you see him just unloading. It's up the first base line. Look at the catcher, doesn't even go after it, and it hits the bat. and then carry him right out in front so Nunez couldn't advance.
I think Kazmir was out of position because he wasn't sure where that throw was going to go. He was going towards third in case the throw came in and was cut off and then went to third base. He was trying to back that up.
It's kind of, at times, you know, you come, you should really just go behind home plate and then watch and adjust your path to where the ball is being thrown.
Molina popped out foul territory to the catcher's first time up. Game is tied 2-2. Yankees have jumped out on top. That's in the bottom of the third in the Bronx, 1-0 on Chicago. Boston leads Pittsburgh 4-3. Arizona over Cleveland 3-1.
About some of these papers here talking about, well, when Torrey gets fired and then Pinella's going to New York next week with the team, then he'll take over, and that's how the club can save $7 million left on his contract.
And there's a lot of speculation that that could happen.
I think it would be a mistake if it did.
Many people believe that this weekend in New York will be a make or break time for Joe Torre against a good club like Chicago. We've got Carlos Zambrano going tonight.
Good time for Cardinal fans to root for Joe Torre and the Yankees.
Pickoff play almost into center field.
Second baseman showed him the glove, signal for him to turn and throw, but he almost threw that ball away.
That's Cantu. He's got his ears in his hat. Top of his ears inside his cap. A unique look.
Yeah.
That you'll find here in Tampa Bay. 2-1 pitch.
What happens when you perspire enough to where your hat starts shrinking?
Major leagues, you just go get another one.
It's Tampa Bay, though.
Saving money.
That reminds me when Cardinals had their affiliate, minor league affiliate here, played in the Forest State League at the end of the year. Ralph Miller was the general manager's name, and he'd collect all their hats at the end of the year.
What could he possibly want to do with those hats?
I don't know.
And Molina goes around and he strikes out. Doesn't like the call. First base umpires, our crew chief here tonight, that's Randy Marsh. You know, Doug was upset.
I can't wait. He was upset with me?
Yeah, because we took his trivia question, which was the one man we were talking about that came back, the pitcher, threw 10 miles an hour harder. So where did the Cardinals call their spring training home from? 1942 to 46.
Sorry, Doug.
Makes that interesting is that St. Petersburg was from 1938 to 1942 for spring training. The Cardinals did not have a spring training site from 42 to 46, and it was 46 to 97 back in St. Pete.
Yeah, so it's not St. Pete.
There's only a handful of people that are still with the Cardinals from back in 97. Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan, Dave McKay, Matt Morris, and John Mabry, the only two players. Tom Mee, our director, was.
He was going and he spun and turned around, but nobody covering the bag. First year I came to St. Petersburg, 1969.
I think it's safe to say that the Cardinals have upgraded considerably by going to Jupiter. With the facility that they have now as opposed to what they had all those years that ended back in 97, the affiliation here in St. Pete.
They had two different Bush, minor league complex. And You know, they took the Mets at one time late. But really, when you looked at Outland Stadium, all you had was the main diamond, and you had a half field out behind the wall.
That's it.
That was it.
And now you've got all those minor league facilities that both clubs share with the Marlins and the Cardinals.
So if you
mentioned at the start of our ball game, great to come here and see old faces, and one of those guys that's been around forever is George Kissel. He's had an impact on just about every team from what, about 1940 on. Does that sound about right? 45 maybe.
it was in the 40s.
And he was a guy that played and saw Babe Ruth.
Well, he was very unusual because he signed as a college graduate. And baseball really kind of frowned upon that. Branch Rickey. He goes all the way back to the Branch Rickey days. Cardinals, and basically, when you talk about the Cardinal way of playing baseball, George Kissel is the author of that.
There's a plaque of George Kissel in the facility over at Jupiter, dedicated to him this past spring. 1 ball, 1 strike on So Taguchi. I believe his son, well, I know for sure he's a doctor. I'm not sure if he's the team doctor for,
he would least probably with Springfield.
Yeah, he helps out.
Yeah, he's a cardiologist down there.
Cardinals AA affiliate in Springfield, Missouri.
I always asked George about his lovely wife Jenny, and she's getting up there in age, and released from a hospital, and now I guess he said she's in a nursing home, but they're just a neat couple.
Crowd comes alive with 2 strikes on So Taguchi. Runners at first and second. Here it comes. Grounded foul down the third base line. Cardinals have tied it up with an RBI base hit by Nunez to score Scott Siebel here in the top of the 4th. 2-2. You know that kid wants the ball. You got to give it to a kid, don't you?
Look at.
Yeah. One-two pitch. Good at bat here by So, who was 1 for 2. He was caught stealing and erased on the base paths back in the 3rd.
I was talking with Pinella today, and we were talking about Albert Pujols being such a good 2-strike hitter, and he said all RBI men are good 2-strike hitters.
Lou Piniella wanted to come back home and manage here in Tampa Bay. He left a good situation in Seattle, and it's been tough for him. He's been around for a long time, over 40 years.
Oh, he's a winner too, so
professional baseball.
Tough for him to see this.
Check swing, and Taguchi went around. Take a look at the Aflac trivia question. Where did the Cardinals call their spring training home from 1942 to 46? There it is.
I knew that. Cairo.
Yep. So brief 4-year layoff, and then back here in St. Pete. Here's Eduardo Perez. Talked to Eduardo a number of times about growing up in that locker room of the Big Red Machine with his dad, the Hall of Famer Tony Perez. I said, you must have been in there a lot. He said, only when they won. I said, yeah, exactly. A lot.
I asked him about his little girl. He just started beaming. Said they're expecting their second one, and his wife did complete her law schooling in St. Louis and has passed the bar.
Right-handers getting loose in their bullpen. Maybe the Cardinals can get at their middle relief, which has been a problem this year for Tampa Bay. 2-1 pitch. Eduardo primarily has been playing against left-handed pitching.
Travis Harper is that righty. Foul ball.
Tapped off his instep.
Tapped. he might disagree with you about that.
Oh, he's tough.
Oh, I know he is. Well, he'd fit in with his ball club again, wouldn't he?
Sure would.
As I said, he called Walt Jockey and said, look, I'll come back here for less money in St. Louis, but it's granted a big 2-year contract for a bench player. Probably about 2 years at more than what the Cardinals would have paid him when he was making 1 year, probably more than what he's would have made for 2 years from the Cardinals.
Getting ready. He's taking his hacks.
He's ready.
Eduardo swings and misses on a ball. And for Mulder, that's his first strikeout tonight.
He would have hit it.
Alex Gonzalez will be the hitter. Hardy's hot pitch of the game, the strikeout number 1 tonight for Mark Mulder. Pitch that was down in the zone. Curveball is in there for a strike to Gonzalez.
Mulder's more occupied of trying to get hitters to get themselves out on the first couple pitches than strikeouts.
Gonzalez, drafted by Toronto, 13th round back in 1991. 7 years with the Blue Jays, 2.5 with Chicago, and now here in Tampa Bay playing third base instead of short. And Gonzalez, you might remember, was part of the Nomar Garcia-Parra trade. Game 6 air against Florida cost the Cubbies. You know, people want to talk about Bartman, but kind of a similar thing with the Don Denkinger call. There were so many other things that happened in that inning that caused the Cardinals to lose. Well, the same thing happened in Game 6 of the Cubs and the Florida Marlins, and none more costly than his error in that game.
Meltdown of the 7 runs or so were scored after the Bartman play.
Play that should have been made. 3-2 pitch. Hold foul. And it's ball 4. 2 walks in this game by Mulder, and both have been to Gonzalez.
Talked about how he's been pest to Mulder in the past, so he's been pitching him very carefully.
Johnny Gomez will be the hitter.
Call from Durham on Monday. Second stint with the ball club.
Fouled back and into the seats. Well, if you come to the ballpark and you're taking your hacks, you got to be alert. That foul ball almost caught that young man we were showing a couple of minutes ago. It's pretty close. 0-1 pitch. Just below the knees.
How close was it? There he is, right back there.
Gomes with a double his first time up. Not taking his hacks now. He's watching. He'll be back to the hacks soon enough. 1-1 pitch. Foul ball.
Modern ball player would probably be eating soon.
Probably what?
Eating soon. Come on, Dad, give me some cotton candy.
Modern day ball player a couple of days ago would have been one of his favorite days of the month.
Oh, 1st to 15th?
You got it. Cardinals always a good draw on the road. Probably the best drawing team in the big leagues would have to be the Yankees. Cubs a very good draw, but the Cardinals up there too.
There's a lot more Cardinal fans in attendance tonight than Devil Rays.
Eduardo Perez was telling me they had 35,000 one night against Boston. His estimation was that 30 of them were Red Sox fans.
Hit by pitch.
So Gomes is on after the walk to Gonzalez. This is one of those things that has been kind of a disturbing trend with Mulder, where almost it seems like it's lost interest or a lost focus. You go back to the game against the Yankees over the weekend. There was 2 strikes on Derek Jeter, 0-2 pitch, and he made a mistake that allowed 2 runs to score after he had walked Cano, the number 8 man in the order. So, you know, those kind of things have been creeping up on Mulder here as of late.
He's given up 10 runs in the first inning, 12 runs in the third, 7 in the fourth, 11 in the fifth, 4 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh.
Double play and he's out of it. Joe McGrain, the former Cardinal, works on the broadcast side for Tampa Bay, their television booth.
Dwayne Statz, his partner, grew up in Alton, Illinois. There's Dwayne, and he was the sports director for Channel 11 at one point.
No balls, 1 strike. And this one is popped up, and that'll find the seats and get out of play. One thing about Mulder, though, if he gets base runners on and there's 1 out, I mean, there's always the chance of the double play because he gets so many ground balls.
Runners on, actually hitting higher average. Things happen in bunches for him. He kind of loses concentration, and you hope he can minimize the damage when he does.
Now Molina wants to talk it over with him.
They usually work very well together, and I think Mulder probably shakes off Molina less than any other of the starters.
Eric has a question for you, Al, on FoxSports.com. You heard us talking the other night about coming here to Tampa Bay, and he remembers seeing you playing in the senior league in Florida. Who'd you play for?
Played for John Henry. He
Now owns the
Boston
Boston
Red Sox, and played for the West Palm team. We were 72 and 72. No, I'm sorry.
Here's a ground ball, and here's your double play. Grudzielanek takes it himself over to Albert.
We were 72 and 20.
That's a pretty good record. There's that much-needed double play. It's 2-2 as we head to the Monday in Cincinnati will be our next telecast on FSN Midwest. Chris Carpenter, coming off his 1-hitter, will go against Aaron Harang. Carpenter and Harang Monday night, FSN. 2-2, the Cardinals and the Devil Rays here in the top of the 5th. And a right-hander is in now for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Kazmir is out. He struck out 5. Not a bad outing with 6 hits allowed, and he gave up the 2 runs. Travis Harper takes over. Record of 1-4. Opponents hitting .272 against him.
He's allowed a run in 6 straight outings. 12.5 ERA during that time.
And the first man he sees, welcome to the game, is Albert Pujols. Pujols hits a shot into right field, and it's going to be caught by Aubrey Huff. A line shot off the bat of Albert for out number 1. And it brings in Reggie. He's 2 for 2 with an infield hit. Average up to .280 for Reggie. 13 homers and 32 RBIs. You can email us at foxsports.com. keyword is Cardinals booth if you'd like to do so. And if you're just joining us, the Cardinals jumped out to an early lead as Mark Grudzielanek picked up an RBI base hit to score Pujols back in the first. A 2-run home run for Tampa Bay. A Cantu, that was in the third to make it 2-1. And an RBI base hit by Abraham Nunez to tie it up at 2-2.
Reggie's hit .417 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs the last 10 starts. Of course, you can add 2 more hits to that.
Make it 3.
It's going Reggie.
Talking about Mulder and what he does in bunches, same can be said offensively for Reggie Sanders.
Of course, Cardinals had 1 runner, Taguchi, thrown out today, but their best base stealer is on base now. And a good hit and run man at the plate.
1 for 2 on the night with a strikeout, RBI base hit. Fouled back and a good cut by Grudzielanek. Has he surprised you at all with the way that he's played? I know you've seen him a bunch in the National League.
I think I had a higher opinion of his defense than what some of the Cardinals had. I've always thought he was a good defensive player, and yet seeing him on an everyday basis, he's surpassed what I thought. Offensively, I always felt he was very good, very capable if he stayed healthy. He's one of those funny hitters. He's not pretty at the plate, the way he swings and the way he's kind of moving into balls, but he's effective.
Not pretty is the right way to describe it. You're right.
He's hit .357 in the team's 41 wins.
In the hole here, 0-2. Flies it into right. Sanders back to first.
Reggie wanted to go and actually had left too soon, but there's no attempt to pick him off.
And it brings in Larry Walker. Twice he is grounded out to third. A lot of talk about the possibility of his retirement at the end of the season, and he was saying before the game tonight that he would rather the focus start shifting back to what's happening with him on the field and with this team, and not individually what's going to happen with him after the end of the season. I'm sure now that we're out of Canada, much of that media focus will not be on him. 2 outs and a runner at first. Time is called.
Harper was just holding the ball to see if Reggie would leave too soon. One of those plays called from the bench where you don't throw the ball.
First pitch to Walker. Swung on and drilled into right field. Sanders was off with the pitch, and it gets by the right fielder into the wall. Sanders didn't see it. He stopped at second. They're still going to wave him in. Now Walker is going to be hung up as they can't complete this play. Back to second he goes, dives, and he's out. But the run will score. The run will score before Larry Walker was tagged out, so the Cardinals have regained the lead, and it's 3-2.
Reggie missed second base. He went back to touch it.
The Cardinals lead it now by a run. 3-2 Cardinals. Let's see what Sanders did on this play.
Hooks it up, then he looks like that. He was kind of looking. In my mind, he felt like he missed the bag, so he went back and touched it. And then they missed the relay throw, and so he started to stop. And he looked like he was confused all over the place.
Grounder over Nunez. Eckstein deep in the hole. Long throw. Got him. Great play by David Eckstein.
David Eckstein, he's just one of those spark plug winners. And When he has to make that throw, he can make it. And a nice stretch at the other end by Pujols.
Here's Crawford. Second round pick back in '99 by Tampa Bay, and a guy that they have high hopes for. He, along with Baldelli, who we've talked about earlier, were 21 years of age when they were on the opening day roster. To go all the way back to 1972, the last time that had happened in Major League Baseball, with Mike Anderson and Greg Luzinski. Nunez out of room. And the count is 0-2.
Crawford needs 9 more steals to become the 5th player all time to have 500 hits and 150 steals before reaching 24 years of age.
No balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 is the count. Tagged out is Walker, but prior to the tag being made at second, the run had scored, and that was Sanders to make it 3-2. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He scored 2 errors on that play.
The obvious one is the right fielder. I didn't know which one was the second, as Nunez stays down on the play and makes it.
They botched the relay throw back in.
And it brings in Julio Lugo. 4 years in Houston. He was let go by the club. Was a domestic problem in the middle of the season, and Tampa Bay picked him up. .271 career hitter coming into play this season. What made that decision a little easier, they also had Adam Everett getting set to take over that spot.
A lot of people that know Lugo said that that was very uncharacteristic, and things have worked out.
We head to the 6th.
Canfield. Harper pitches his 2nd inning.
Seabold, Nunez, and Molina. That hit his hand.
Sure. Might have got a little bad. Talking about getting into a kitchen.
Well, it goes back to the pitcher. So why is that a dead ball? Because he swings and it's a strike and then hits him?
Oh, it's just a foul ball. I think he hit one off his leg too. But I mean, it got in there deep.
There's your buddy, the heckler.
This time he got a double off the left center field wall. Makes the son proud, doesn't he?
Sure does. On base twice tonight, 1 for 1. Looped into shallow left field, and that's going to drop for a hit. Over Lugo, and Seabold is on for the 3rd time tonight. Should bring that guy with us on the road every night.
Absolutely. He was batting .325 with 8 home runs, 26 RBIs at AAA before he got called up. And the last 10 days or so, he's getting a chance to play a little more regular, and the hits are coming more frequent.
Cardinals will have a decision to make with Scott Rowland here this weekend. Haven't seen an awful lot of Skip Schumacher, and one of the things that we may see more of is Seabold starting to take some fly balls. He can play second, he can play third, and let's see if he can play the outfield. Here's a switch hitting Nunez, hitting from the other side of the plate now. Abraham with an RBI base hit that scored Seabold with his double back in the 4th. Abraham is 1 for 2 with a strikeout. 3-2 Cardinals here in the 6th. Folks here in Tampa Bay say we're going to have a crowd of around 25-30,000 tomorrow. Maybe even better on Sunday. It's one of their promotional days, like we have the ice cream Sundays and Kids Day and Family Day on Sundays. That's something they provide here in Tampa Bay. And Nunez pops it fouling out of play into a sea of red.
Great tradition of baseball. Come out on Father's Day. Enjoy that relationship.
Tony La Russa and Lou Piniella, old friends here in Tampa Bay. Both grew up in West Tampa Bay. Played on the same American Legion team, post 248 in West Tampa. This is popped up near the Cardinal dugout and out of play. 2 rows deep.
Tampa's really a hotbed of baseball talent over the years.
Tony came up as a shortstop, but he says the better athlete was Piniella, who had a fine playing career in the major leagues and obviously one of the better managers in the game of baseball. And Tony's going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
Bill Hatcher, first base coach, talking with Lou.
It was Lou Piniella's Reds that swept the A's back in 1990 when Tony La Russa was at the helm of Oakland.
4-0.
Tony has gotten the best of him, though, in interleague play. And also just regular season play. Advantage of 38-29 in those games.
And Marge Schott was very upset at her Reds.
Not enough games were
Not
played.
enough games were played. First 4 games, the cut goes to the players. She wanted hers.
I've talked to Tony about that series, and he said he could feel that coming. And he said during a workout prior to game 1, Cincinnati was all business, and he felt that his team was almost too loose. He said it's a fine line when you've got postseason play and everything on the line and the pressure of it, but you know, how do you know when your team's too loose? You want them to be somewhat loose so they can play to their best capabilities, but he said they were too loose. Cincinnati was all business and won it 4 games to none.
It's interesting because Wayne Hagan told me before the game Wednesday up in Toronto, he said, boy, this team's really loose. Isn't the best lineup, but they said Louis pitched a game that beat him.
Guess Wayne's got a pulse on things. Wayne Hagan is working with Ricky Horton on the left, Wayne on the right, and Jim Jackson, the producer engineer.
And you'll do radio with Wayne the next 2 days, right?
I'll be over there, yeah. Looking forward to it. Mike Shannon will rejoin us in Cincinnati.
Wayne know where he went this time?
Said he stayed at home.
Oh, good.
That's pulled foul.
Just never know.
No, you certainly don't with Shannon. You know, there's not many buildings or fields anymore that have the bullpens in play. Just a handful anymore.
Right.
And really only the only newer ballpark that does was the San Francisco Giants.
Because they forgot about it.
It's an afterthought to put in bullpens. Nunez slaps it the other way for a base hit. So in Harper's second inning of work, it's back-to-back hits and singles by Seabold and Abraham Nunez.
Remember, he gave up 2 hits in his first inning of work, so 4 1+ innings. A nice piece of hitting there as he's kind of sliced it out in the left field.
This is where it gets fun for Tony La Russa. Chance to sacrifice here or Butcher Boy swing away with Molina, who is 0 for 2 tonight.
They'll try and get the lead runner at third base.
Molina bunts it foul.
Stabbing at it. Pitch up, trying to get the pop up. Kendo has a word with Molina. Third baseman will tell the pitcher. He'll give the signs to all the position players and then verbally tell the pitcher what bunt play is on, bunt play defense.
4 sacrifices this season. That was primarily because he wasn't hitting in the beginning of the season, so they used him as a sacrifice man. A couple times he even did that in front of the pitcher. That's how bad things were going.
Yep. Shows bunt. First time pitcher stepped off. That time he spun to look to second, and Molina tipped off that the bunt was on.
And the bunt is down. It's a good bunt by Yadier. The only play is to first. The sacrifice is good. 5-4.
Well, they had the third baseman playing back, so you want to bunt it hard enough down the third base line to get it past the pitcher and make that third baseman come in, and that's exactly what they did.
What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. The game will be on the WB. Cardinals and Devil Rays. Matt Morris will make the start for the Redbirds. An impressive 7-0 mark on the line. That game will be 5 o'clock on Channel 11.
How good was he in that complete game against Boston?
He has been good all season. Be his 12th start tomorrow. Already 7-0. A grounded to short. Is there a play at the plate? No. Only play to first. An RBI for David Exxon. His 21st of the season, and it's 4-2 Cardinals. Hit just slow enough, and Seabold was off with contact from third.
Contact, and then Nunez, with the play being in front of him, waited to see the throw go to first base before he came over to third. Everybody appreciates that.
Eckler has been good for Scott Seabold.
Yeah.
2 runs scored. He's been on base 3 times and 2 hits. Well, so Taguchi got off to a very hot start this season, but has tailed off considerably as his average is at 243. He does have a base hit, but then was erased and a caught stealing.
Weird. He's in a 189 slide since May 12th, but 364 in his last 7 starts.
And it's 0-2. That's a base hit into right. Taguchi delivers to make it 5-2. With 2 outs, an 0-2 mistake. And so picks up his second hit. And that will be his 12th RBI. And the Cardinal fans here in Tampa love it.
And see where the catcher's glove is down. It's a breaking ball, but look how high it is. And it's up and away, and just a nice piece of hitting. Just guiding it to the right side and through. Boy, 2 out base hits, they just really demoralizing to the opposition and really pick up your teammates.
Harper came in the 5th, and the first man that he saw was Albert Pujols. And that's a strike at the knees. 5-2 Cardinals. And the inning is extended to, of all people, Albert Pujols.
And now a little bit more of a book on this pitcher. That could be trouble.
Albert has walked and scored back in the first. He has struck out and flied out. Pitch just misses outside, and it's 1-1. See where Pujols is motioning towards his front shoulder, opening up just a little bit, meaning he's pulling off some pitches. Here comes a 1-1. We've talked about how Larry Walker constantly is changing his stance. Do you remember a time in the 5 years that we watched Albert? Has he really ever changed his stance at all?
No. I mean, it's just so fundamentally sound. He's got perfect balance. He stays on pitches longer than most, so he can drive and hit balls fair.
Saw that graphic. The Cardinals, the best interleague play last few seasons. Of course, Albert a big part of that interleague career. 327, 14 homers, and 58 RBIs.
Let's see what Devil Rays their record was.
Larry Walker has the best career interleague average.
This year the Devil Rays are 3-9, but they were 15-3 a year ago in interleague play.
Runner at first is Sho Taguchi. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Albert Pujols. Albert down the left field line. It is hooking, and it is foul. That got out in a split second.
Talking about most of the time he can keep a ball fair longer than most. The time he was out in front, but just a laser. A line drive that just hooks it foul. Look out.
It's not one you want to catch. You just get out of the way.
Hit so hard he couldn't get out of the way.
2-2 is the count. And time is called. On 2-2, it's hit into deep right center field. Should hang up there though for Aubrey Huff, and he makes the catch. Cardinals pick up a couple of runs and lead it 5-2. Let's take a look at our pitch by pitch, brought to you by your Mid-American Chevrolet dealers.
Harper's faced 10 batters. He's gotten Albert out twice. There was a fastball he turned on, and then kind of a hanging breaking ball that had him fooled.
That pitch is drilled into deep left field, and on the first pitch to start the 6th inning, Cantu with his 2nd home run of this game. First time a 2-run shot, this time a solo shot, and it cuts the lead to 5-3.
2 home runs tonight, 9 on the season that Mulder has surrendered.
9 home runs for Cantu.
Leads the Rays in that department. Molina's glove is on the ground, and that ball was belt high and just turned on. No doubt about that one.
Aubrey Huff is the hitter. Twice he has grounded to second, 0 for 2.
Thompson starts warming up for the Cardinals.
Pitch inside. Mr. Cantu has really helped out our 2005 home run challenge. Another $28,000 raised to fight prostate cancer. FSN is proud to be part of that, as Albert Pujols will put this away, and Huff is 0 for 3. Big night for Cantu, the 2nd baseman for Tampa Bay.
Swings a bat like that, he can put his ears inside his hat or not.
Eduardo Perez. Struck out and grounded out. First pitch, breaking ball, a strike. Mark Mulder trying to snap a 3-game losing streak here tonight, a personal 3-game losing streak. Losses to New York, Houston, and Colorado. Chopped to second. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. Here's Alex Gonzalez. 5-3 Cardinals. Pitch a little in for Mulder as we play here in the bottom of the 6th.
He's walked Gonzalez twice tonight.
Oh, 2 now. Mulder had a 1-2-3 first. He's walked 2 men here tonight. That's Gonzalez. He's given up 2 home runs to Cantu. Pitch in the dirt for the first ball. Like you might expect, a lot of ground ball outs here tonight.
So he allowed 4 hits. All 3 runs have come via the home run.
He's had 14 ground ball outs. This could be number 15. Nunez in front of the shortstop, David Eckstein. Strong throw over to first, and that ends the 6th. 2 up for the Cardinals, Sanders, Gritzelanek, and Walker. 5-3 Redbirds. Doug Myers is tonight's merchandise winner, the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, Doug qualifies for the Hyundai Tucson drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer.
Edwards had a good night.
3 hits.
Senior trip.
Five to 3 Cardinals here in the 7th, and the first pitch is fouled back. Cardinals will wear their blue uniforms, the powder blue unis from the 1982 World Series year tomorrow.
Victory blue.
Victory blue uniforms. Part of the Turn Back the Clock fundraising effort by Tampa Bay's the Ray of Hope Foundation. Reggie into center.
Second baseman number 12, Mark Bartolome.
If you'd like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Cardinals home game, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Good luck from Southwest Airlines. Gritzelanek has been a busy man in the field defensively with all these ground ball outs. And at the plate, picked up the first run of the game on an RBI single up the middle to score Pujols. He is struck out and fly to right. Harper working in his 3rd inning out of the bullpen for Tampa Bay. And nobody up in either bullpen right now.
Going down to the slugger.
Two and 1 the count. Walker on deck. Chopper towards the middle, taken there by Lugo. 2 outs. And it brings in Larry Walker. His last time up, it was a base hit that brought in Reggie Sanders on an odd play, in which it looked like Reggie missed the bag at second. Our natural guess would be to say that he was heading back to the bag because he missed it. Something he did in the World Series, mind you.
The right fielder scored a single because the right fielder came in on it, missed it. There he got to second base, rounded the bag, and when the throw came back in, it was messed up the cutoff. That's when Reggie was kind of caught between third and home, then went home.
And this one is popped up. Lugo over, and he makes the play. The Cardinals go 1-2-3 here in the top of the 7th. Time to stretch in Tampa Bay. It's 5-3 St. Louis. To commemorate the final season of Busch Stadium, the Cardinals and BJC Healthcare have teamed up to bring the first 25,000 fans ages 16 and over a specially designed cap featuring the final season logo. For tickets or more information, log on to stlcardinals.com or call 421-2400. Mark Mulder pitching into the 7th. Gomes, Hall, and Hollins. And that healthcare cap day is coming up next Sunday against Pittsburgh. And that hits the man. So it bounced in the dirt and catches Gomes for the second time. He's been hit by a pitch.
That does get the bullpen active. Got him on the back leg. Skipped up there.
Now the tying run comes to the plate. Here's Toby Hall. His 3rd full season here with Tampa Bay. Hal McRae was the manager here in Tampa Bay, and at one point he said he made too much contact because he was swinging at bad pitches. He thought it would be better to strike out because maybe he would learn discipline not to go out of the zone. He said, I know that sounds odd, but that's really the way I look at it. And it had to be frustrating for Hal McRae, just like it is for Lou Piniella here in Tampa Bay, with this franchise not spending any money on players.
Well, Hal lives in Bradenton, so at least he got to live at home too. And then the last couple years, he was on the payroll as a consultant, but said they never asked him his opinion.
Hall is hit into a double play, the only double play turned by the Cardinals tonight.
It's like Don Zimmer is in uniform before the game, and they will sit up in the stands. And he's a consultant here. He lives on Treasure Island, out near the beaches, and they don't ask his opinion either.
Then why have him around?
I mean, Hal flat out told me, he said he was offered a raise, 10% raise this year, but he said, I just couldn't take the money anymore. I felt like I was, I wasn't doing anything to earn it. And I think he's happy to be back in uniform as a hitting coach with a very good ball club, the Cardinals.
Hall has hit 2 ground balls tonight. How about a 3rd and a double play?
The guy I can't understand is Chuck Lamar. Is the general manager from the inception, and yet no blame ever goes his way.
He's the one that made the decision to bring in the big hitters they thought would get them over the top. Greg Vaughn and Canseco, Manny Castilla.
He went with rookies, then he went with the veteran guys. A couple moves of
Molina tried to pick that, and it goes to the backstop and gets away. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Not the effort that we're accustomed to seeing, a ball in the dirt. Dropping to the knees or blocking the ball with the chest.
Base hit can make it a one-run game. One swing of the bat, we could be tied. Ground ball. Nunez will look back the runner at second. That's out number one. Very easily could have been a double play if not for the fast ball. The next Fox televised game will be on Monday night from Cincinnati. Chris Carpenter and Aaron Harang. We'll see Junior and the Cincinnati Reds. Austin Kearns recently was sent down by Cincinnati.
Right.
Trying to straighten him out. William Opeña playing in right, Junior in center, and Adam Dunn out left.
More Danny Graves.
Now with the Mets. 1-0 pitch to Hollins. Lined into left and right at Reggie. A play at second and not in time. Almost picked up the double play as Hollins hit it right at Reggie.
The runner out there just got a little excited as the line drive, but Reggie noticed right away, tried to get it back as quick as possible.
Carl Crawford is the hitter. And they did lock up Crawford with 4 years and just over $15 million. He's 0 for 3 here tonight. On the stolen base crowd the last couple of seasons in the American League. He's got great speed.
He's got a lot of talent.
Mulder should be out of this inning if not for that ball that got away from Molina. Trying to atone for it, throws down to second. Right-hander throwing in the bullpen for Tampa Bay. Cardinals have Ray King. Looks like Brad Thompson is throwing as well.
Correct. Right-hander is Nunez for Tampa Bay that Lou Piniella said he's real excited about.
1-1 pitch. What have you thought of Mulder tonight?
Just, you know, I mean, you like certain things, but then there's other things that, like you say, it's just you don't see the dominance. You know, it's kind of a, you know, as Izzy described him, former teammate, Mr. Cool out there. And you don't really see that, you know, like that really gung-ho and really aggressive attitude, but this is the way he pitches.
1-2 pitch. Curveball pulled foul.
Hanger, but it was just bad enough that he couldn't do anything with it.
Cardinals have Mulder tonight, Morris tomorrow night, Jeff Suppan on Sunday afternoon. It's off to Cincinnati. Hit foul and out of play again.
I like the fact that one more pitch, you could be through 7 innings. 4 hits allowed, but a 2-run home run and a solo shot.
Crawford hitting .273. 1-2 pitch. Grounder and a fair ball, and Pujols will take it. Tampa Bay strands a man. We head to the 8th. Mulder and the Cardinals on top, 5-3. You can get in-game alerts, scores, breaking news, and more. Your mobile phone for $3.99 a month. Text the word CARDS to 65246 or MLBGO, MLB Go, and charges will appear on your mobile phone bill. Travis Harper, his 4th inning of work. Scott Seabold, the heckler. Here we go. You know, a decision for Tony La Russa, if we were playing in the National League, would be what to do with Mark Mulder coming up in this inning. He would be due up 3rd, but with the DH, it's Molina in that spot. So we've got Seabold, Nunez, and Molina.
Got some guys down in the bullpen that need some work. So it appears that Mulder's night could be through as Tavares, the 8th inning setup man, is warming up. See if we can get a little more cushion.
Seabold has been on base 3 times tonight. He's walked, doubled and scored, singled and scored.
And you touched on it with possible roster move, bringing Rowan back. I think Scott Seabold is not in jeopardy at all.
Gets it back to the pitcher. Harper will take it, steps and throws for the first out. Cardinal Baseball, a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. Now Raboski, Dan McLaughlin, Jim Hayes also with you. Boston is tied up now, top of the 8th with Pittsburgh 5-5. Cubs have rallied back from a 4-0 deficit to chase Yankee starter Carl Pavano after 5 1/3. Nunez down the left field line and foul.
They're leading now 6-5.
6-5 in the 7th. Last check. Cleveland leading Arizona 13-6. San Francisco blanking Detroit. That's in the bottom of the 9th, 4-0. Toronto on top of Milwaukee 9-5. That's in the bottom of the 6th. Atlanta leading Cincinnati 10-5, top of the 8th. Colorado leading Baltimore 1-0, bottom of the 6th. White Sox leading Los Angeles 4-0. That's in the bottom of the 5th. Dodgers have really fallen off after a good start. Grounded to second. Nunez is 2 for 4. And again, we thank our crew from Bud Sports, Cardinal Baseball, production of Bud Sports, exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. 2 down, and the batter is Molina. Houston leading Kansas City. That's in the bottom of the 4th, 3-0. San Diego on top of Minnesota 4-3, top of the 4th. And you're caught up. Rest of baseball a little later tonight. Molina 0 for 2 with the key sacrifice bunt though. Bouncer off the pitcher's glove. Lugo can take this. Slowed it down just enough. Cardinals 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th. Looks like Tavares is coming in for St. Louis. They lead it 5-3 in Tampa, Florida. 5-3 Cardinals. Lugo, Cantu, and Huff. 2, 3, and 4 in the order for the Devil Rays as we start play here in the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals on top. Turn it over to Julian Tavares. So Mulder is done as he allows 4 hits tonight.
Quality start and in line for the victory.
Cardinals enter tonight's game as the National League's team ERA leader with a 3.60 mark. Reason why is this guy, Julian Tavares, under 3. Opponents hitting .259 against him.
#1 bullpen in the National League. Julian hadn't pitched since Sunday, so needed some work. Second in the National League with his 15 holds.
Saturday and Sunday against New York. First time we've seen him on the trip. It's 2-2. Chopper towards the middle. Grizzolonic, the shortstop side. Can't make the play, and Lugo is on. The tying run will come to the plate. And Jorge Cantu, who has already hit 2 home runs here tonight. Good effort, though, by Grizzolonic.
A real strong arm, and Lugo can run, so it's going to be a real close play either way. Well, on the shortstop side of second, throws it. Threw in the dirt. He had some arm strength on it. Albert couldn't come up with a scoop.
Ray King getting loose in a hurry.
Huff, the on-deck hitter. Maybe he can induce a ground ball double play.
Cantu. Pair of home runs, a 2-run shot in the 3rd, solo shot on the first pitch he saw in the 6th. We're in the 8th, nobody out. Fastball misses on the outside corner.
Jorge Cantu batting .402 as a third baseman and .246 as a second baseman, but they say defensively they're better off with him playing second than third.
They're staying away with those first 2 pitches. Left fielder is Reggie Sanders, and deep left. Taguchi pretty deep in center.
Normally you don't worry about the long ball with Julian on the mound. This year he's been a little more vulnerable to the round tripper.
Two and two. Hasn't had many pitches to hit in this at bat, and that one was tailing back in over the middle of the plate.
Cantu has already established a Devil Rays record for home runs as a second baseman.
Came up, was a doubles machine last year. Home runs this year. He's got 9. 34 RBIs, and time is called.
6 of them now have come as a second baseman. Cairo, Brent Abernathy, and Marlon Anderson, a couple former Cardinals, all had 5, and now he's the sole leader with 6.
And he strikes him out on a pitch that explodes in on his hands. Tied him up.
Very good pitch, up and in. Set up inside, but he gets it up and in, and that moving up there. Very good pitch. Locks him up. And with that, looks like he's going to face the left-hander after a little talking to from Dave Duncan.
Mentioned the home runs, Al. He's allowed just 2 home runs in 141 games. That was in 2003 and all of 04. But already 4 home runs this year. Now he's got some ice cream. Takes a break from the swings.
Yeah. Huff struggling of late. He is probably their best hitter.
This guy was the minor league player of the year back in 2000 for Tampa Bay.
The Rays all-time leader, career leader in games played, at bats, runs, hits, doubles, extra base hits, batting average, and home runs.
What makes it curious is that he's done all that while hitting better against left-handed pitching in his career. 5th round pick out of the University of Miami back in '98.
Yeah, one of 6 major leaguers to average 300, 30 home runs, and 100 RBIs over the last 2 seasons.
2-0 pitch is drilled into right center field, and that ball is off the top of the wall. Walker quickly gets it back in, and a great play by Larry Walker. Fabulous play.
The big guy to a single, and Larry went back on that ball, played to Karen perfectly, and how quickly he gets it back to the infield was what made the play. Off balance throw, hits the curve man Krzyzolnik perfectly. Lugo, the lead runner, recognized that that ball was over the head of Walker. That really wasn't very good base running, because from his angle you could see the height.
Tony's going to go to his bullpen. Ray King will be called in.
Travis Lee has been announced as a pinch hitter.
5-3 Cardinals. Here's Ray King, his 32nd appearance. And Nick Green is going to be the hitter. Picked up in an off-season deal. He played with Atlanta last year for 95 games. Gained 15 pounds this past off-season. Made the club for Tampa Bay.
He's pinch hitting for Travis Lee, so at least we've gone through some of the extra men here.
And Lee was announced, right?
Yes.
So that means he's through for the night. Pinch hitter here for Perez. Fastball misses low and in.
Green is 2 for 10. Couple doubles on the homestand. He's hitless in the last 2 games, going 0 for 7, snapping a modest 5-game hitting streak.
Runners at first and third. 5-3 Cardinals here in the 8th. Good slider by Ray.
Got a good batting eye. Green is tied for second with 19 walks. He's also the team's best hitter against left-handed pitching, a .417 average.
Brad Thompson continues to throw. Second time he's been up in the pen. Ray King talks about throwing 2 different sliders. One's almost a slow version of a curveball, and the other one is a hard slider. He doesn't like to show too much in one at bat. He'll mix it up. In particular, if he knows that he's going to see a couple of lefties in an inning.
Here's your slider right here. Look where Molina's got the glove on the ground.
And he got it. Good pitch by Ray. He's getting sharper and sharper as the season goes on.
It's just, he started out real well. He was scoreless first 12 appearances, then just hit a rough. And he makes pitches like this. It was the inconsistency with that slider. But this is a real good one, a biting slider and just good location. So Ray does his job. The only man he faced, he retires him via the strikeout.
Gonzalez, who has walked twice tonight and grounded out to third, is going to face Brad Thompson. So Thompson's going to come in out of the bullpen and try to get the final out here in the 8th. We'll step aside again. Gonzalez and Thompson coming up. So Brad Thompson on Wednesday night, 1 inning. He gave up 1 hit. No runs scored. Opponents hitting just .177 against him with an ERA that's under 3 in his rookie season. And a pinch hitter is Reggie Taylor.
Nothing phases him.
The thing that impresses everybody is how much movement he's got on his pitches. Like that pitch starts out at the hitter and crosses on the inside portion of the plate. Molina wants it low in the zone. Here comes an 0-1 pitch. Down the right field line, and it's hooked foul.
Actually, a couple of years ago, playing for Cincinnati, hit 3 pinch hit home runs. One was a killer against the Cardinals. Now Molina is, see, he's set up away, and that ball's in the middle, and then he's trying to, quite like Carlton Fisk, but trying to do it from the catcher's position.
Yeah.
Body English.
Let's see one here on 0-2. That's one thing about Thompson too. He's always around the zone. Sometimes that can be counterproductive.
Yes, it can. It's, times like now it's 0-2. You can try and get the hitter. He's the one that's defensive and try and get him to expand his zone.
Wouldn't mind seeing one of these pitches hit the dirt.
Yeah, that's wouldn't be surprised if Molina will give him that signal. Runner at third base, but Molina very capable of blocking that ball. Use your head. Set up way outside. Look where the glove is. Bounce it. Still can't do it, but Molina's trying to get him to do it. But this part of the problem is too is we always praise him. We say, oh, we love him because he comes in and throws strikes. Now we're telling him not to, and he's going, wait a minute, you guys tell me you like me. I throw strikes.
See if he can get him out here. He's going to go back inside. That's where the first two pitches were. We already forget he was a starter in the minor leagues, moved to the bullpen. A lot of people feel that's the way that you should break in a young pitcher at this level.
I agree.
Get your feet wet coming out of the bullpen.
Manager can pick spots for you and make sure you achieve a level of success. Bob Gibson did it for a year and a half. A lot of times, you get a pitcher because of the pitch counts, he's maybe averaging 6 innings in the minor leagues. Well, I'll guarantee you it'll be an inning less in the big leagues, and it's tough when you're only going to throw 5 innings. I don't like them keep on going in.
2-2 pitch. Pretty good battle here between Taylor and Thompson. And Brad has talked about how he's really grown into this role and appreciates it a little bit more than he thought, and is starting to like it better than starting pitching because he's got a chance to pitch every day when he comes to the park.
That's it. If you are used on a consistent basis, it's a great place to be.
Going back inside here with a 2-2 pitch. They've missed his spot.
Well, he's missed his spot several times, but he's in the vicinity around the strike zone. But this is one of those situations where even if Reggie Taylor doesn't get a hit, he's had a very good at bat, and he's given himself plenty of opportunities to see that mistake.
Runners at first and third. 2 down here in the 8th. A 2-2 pitch from Thompson. Swing and a miss. He got him. He preserves a 2-run lead. Thompson does it again. 9th inning coming up from Tampa Bay. The strikeout of Taylor as we head to break. This game recap is brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of baseball. The heckler on Scott Seabold for this weekend road trip through Tampa, and Seabold has responded. Scott with a couple of hits tonight, 2 runs scored to go along with a walk. On the flip side, young second baseman for Tampa Bay twice got to Mark Mulder with the long ball. Jorge Cantu. He accounts for their 3 RBIs and 2 of the 3 runs. Mulder 7 innings, 3 earned runs. He walked 2, struck out 1. 5-3 Cardinals. And it's the top of the order for St. Louis. David Eckstein on the first pitch from Carter. Lance Carter. It's hit out of play. This will be his 23rd appearance. A record of 1-1 out of the bullpen.
This is his 3rd appearance since being reinstated from a 3-game suspension last Friday, where in the game he allowed a home run to Manny Ramirez and then was ejected when his next pitch nearly hit Ortiz.
Speaking of suspensions, Alex Sanchez no longer with Tampa Bay. Pretty talented player that has gone through 3 different organizations now.
And I think he was hitting .330 too. So
he'll always be remembered as the first player caught in the major leagues with the new drug testing policy. Eckstein 0 for 3 with a walk, averages under 300 at 297. Made a real nice play in the hole defensively, though.
Let me ask you something. You think making this public has been such a deterrent? It really doesn't seem like it's like the.
I'll take it a step further.
Scarlet letter.
I just don't know if we're going to see that big name player named by Major League Baseball. We're going to hear about the Alex Sanchez's of the world, but not a big name player. Pat Paris, let's coming up on the Midwest Sports Report.
All right, thanks. Coming up right after the game on MSR, a live player interview with the star of the game. The Blues are for sale, and day 2 at the U.S. Open. That and much more next. But now back to Dan and Al. Guys.
Taguchi with 2 hits and an RBI. 2 for 4 tonight, starting in center. Hope to see Jim Edmonds at some point here in Tampa Bay, maybe Sunday. More than likely not tomorrow.
Well, win this game, win tomorrow, and then don't feel like you're pressed to bring him back sooner.
Taguchi swinging away in what clearly looks like a sacrifice situation, but with his 2 hits, maybe you let him swing away on that first strike, and he's such a good, disciplined, productive bunter, and can do it with 1 strike down or in a hole, 0-1.
And could put a hit and run on too.
Back to your point, I would think the sheer embarrassment of it would curtail people from attempting to use steroids, or if they were on them, to get off them.
I guess really, as people are reading labels of some of the supplements a lot closer too.
Case in point would be a number of the Dominican players that don't have a full understanding, they say, of what's happening. A strike on the inside corner, 2-2. See if they want to start the runner. That's Eckstein at first base. Could run yourself into a double play. Strike him out, throw him out if they do that. But it's a good piece of hitting by Sho Taguchi. Eckstein around second. He's on his way to third. It's first and third. Nobody out for Albert Pujols. Great job by Sho Taguchi. Another 2-strike hit as he just stuck the bat out.
You know, if you sacrifice him over, then they've got the option of walking Pujols. But now his base hit, and a very good piece of hitting, going with the pitch. You get Eckstein over to third base. Taguchi gets his 3rd hit. Look at that, out of way, plate coverage, but you know, he just kind of tries to flip it out there.
It's the 2nd time he's done that with a base hit to right. Here's Pujols.
Ooh. He's a little bit off in his timing. He's
out in front.
Out in front more than we've seen this year, more than we've seen probably in all 4 years combined, but the numbers don't lie. He's having another terrific year.
Pujols could make this a non-save situation with 1 swing of the bat.
Could, but you almost think that since Jason hasn't pitched since last Sunday, he would need to work anyway. Reyes hadn't pitched since Sunday.
1-1 the count on Albert. Twice he has flied to right. He has struck out, walked and scored in the first. Out in front again on a breaking ball on the outside portion of the plate. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Pujols. 5-3 Cardinals. Runners at first and third. Nobody out here in the 9th. Outfield is very deep. Center fielder shading Pujols to pull just a bit. Not by much. A couple of steps. As we've said time and again, there's really no way to defend Albert. Runner in third, less than 2 outs. Only 7 of 14. That seems odd for Albert. Only 50% of the time. He would figure it'd be a higher percentage than that. 2-2 the count. Reggie Sanders is the cleanup man. He's waiting on deck. Second time tonight, Pujols has struck out.
Second time via the fastball too. Pitchers can savor it now, but it won't happen too often.
Now it's Reggie Sanders, a 3-hit night for Reggie. Average up to 283. First and third. Some insurance would be nice here. Reggie into left, plenty deep for Eckstein to tag up from third. This will make it a 6-3 Cardinal lead.
Big run.
Reggie Sanders with 3 hits, an RBI, and a run scored. And don't forget about a nice play early on when he cut off a ball in left field to save a run. That's his 33rd RBI in 2005, and with 2 outs, the batter is Gritzelanek. Picked up the first RBI in this game all the way back in the first. 6-3 now, Cardinals.
Pretty much on pace. Cardinals leading the National League in runs scored, better than 5 runs per game. ERA came in the best in the National League, 3.60. Scoreless inning, that could go down a little bit.
2 balls and no strikes. Cardinals hold on. If they do, gets them to 42 wins on the season, and Mark Mulder goes to 8-4. And it's 3-0 on Gritzelanek.
His record goes 72-6 with 4 more runs support. 72-6.
Not many things are automatic in baseball. That's one of them, it seems like.
And that's where they're not, pitching as lights out or ace-like.
Full count on the Cardinals' second baseman, Mark Gritzelanek. And he got him. Gritzelanek strikes out. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Izzy will come in and try to close it out. 6-3 Redbirds. 6-3 St. Louis with the lead as we head to the bottom of the ninth, and we turn to tonight's plays of the game, and it's brought to you by Bud Light. Our Bud Light plays of the game. Our first one, a strikeout of Green as a pinch hitter. With a runner on, this was Ray King getting him. The slider in on his hands, and then the next time it's Thompson and Taylor out.
And same thing, he wanted a fastball in. He doesn't get the location, but he has good movement on it. And Richard Taylor comes up empty. So turn it over to Ezzy. Set up men have done their job. Mulder goes 7. Bullpen, 3 guys each got an out last inning, and now Izzy will come in for the 24th time. He has 18 saves. And pitched since Sunday, so a good time to kind of tune things up for this weekend.
First batter is Gomes, then Toby Hall and Hollins. First pitch by Izzy. A swing and a miss.
And I was talking with Lou Piniella, and he was saying that about a month or so ago he talked to his closer and said that, we're going to have a tough time getting to you. Would you want to pitch in the 7th and 8th inning? Because many times a game is really decided in that situation. Like the relievers in the 8th inning had a tougher job with 2 men on than Izzy's with an extra run to deal with, 3-run lead and nobody on.
Fastball, curveball. That was the cutter that missed outside. The more I watch Isringhausen throw his curveball, the more I wish he went to it, because it is really sharp this year.
Yeah. And Molina likes it, and he calls for it here.
1-2 pitch, curveball, he got him. He throws a knuckle curve, and maybe the best in the game that can do that is Mike Mussina, but Isringhausen, when he is on with that very good fastball, I mean, this curveball is flat out nasty.
Get it down. That's the whole key. If you get it down, then you know it's going to break and you're not going to get hurt by it.
Diving stop. Nunez. Picked by Pujols on the other end. You know what I talked about earlier? Those plays towards the line, and man, he's made those.
What you're talking about. Playing the hot corner. reactionary position. Really have about a step and a dive. Gets to it, gets to his feet, low throw, but Albert is very, very good at the other end. Very soft hands and comes through. Nice play at both ends.
Hollins, the final hope for Tampa Bay, down by 3 runs. First pitch by Izzy. Strike 1. He's even nervous.
Well, maybe the ice cream was too much for him.
0-1 pitch. You bet. Another curveball.
Cardinals, as we said, National League team leader in ERA. Bullpen has been outstanding. Miller gets a chance to pick up the 37th victory from the starters.
The 0-2 pitch in the dirt.
Look at all these Cardinal fans standing. Seabold has a nice day.
The 1-2. Two and 2 the count for Damon Hollins. A chant of "Let's go Cardinals."
The Devil Rays fans trying to boo out the Cardinal fans, but they won't have a chance. Almost embarrassing, isn't it? But it's a familiar scene for us to see this many Cardinal fans in visiting ballparks.
Two pitch. Eckstein going out, and he can't get there. A 2-out hit to extend the game. Back to the leadoff man, Carl Crawford. Crawford tonight is 0 for 4. The play behind that runner at first base with a left-handed bat.
Properly takes the base.
First pitch was a strike. Here comes an 0-1 from Izzy. A curveball that was bouncing in the dirt.
Crawford has a lot of talent. This is Izzy's facing him.
And again, the Cardinals 1 strike away.
Sure with a man on second base. Together, make sure they're on the same signals.
Saw a game last year and a ball that got away from Mike Matheny on a 3rd strike, and they had to make that final play at first. It would have tied the game up against the Phillies. Instead, St. Louis won by about a half a step.
Yeah. Only seen a lot of family and friends. He wants to see him with a victory.
0-2 pitch. The game is still alive. Back-to-back hits, and the tying run comes to the plate. It's 6-4. Hollins extends it. Crawford extends it. Now it's Lugo. Not much reaction from the Cardinals skipper. Now it's Lugo. Only 2 home runs this season.
Ask his stomach about that.
Yeah. Play behind the runner again. Fastball and a strike. So Crawford with his speed and a base hit could make it 6-5. Lugo with one swing could tie it up. Again, though, only 2 home runs for the Tampa Bay shortstop. Popped up. This should do it. Fritz Alani calls for it. The Cardinals win it. Their 42nd victory this season. Home runs in tonight's game raised $56,000 for prostate cancer research. The Home Run Challenge, a team effort between MLB and FSN, raises money for prostate cancer research. Cardinals win this one by the score of 6-4. After dropping 2 of 3 against Toronto, they take game 1 against Tampa Bay. 6-4 behind a 12-hit attack. Mark Mulder picks up the victory for St. Louis. Tomorrow on the WB, our next Fox game will be on Monday night. Midwest Sports Report coming up now.